Hello and welcome to this special show. This program, viewers, is celebrating the first anniversary of PAIGHAM Pakistan. The book that I'm holding in my hand right now, it is one very important and curious book. If you remember, whenever we have done program on terrorism, extremism, we have always talked about one thing, the need of a narrative. In this country, we kept on fighting terrorism for 17 years, more than 17 years now. But somehow it seems that we were not able to come together with a narrative. This time, we finally managed to do it. There was an initiative that was taken, and with that initiative, we have seen a joint declaration of fatwa also on fighting extremism and how the terrorists actually don't represent Islam. This is quite important because in Pakistan there were a lot of terrorist activities, especially when you talk about suicide attacks, and yet we didn't see that. Today's program is brought to you by PTV World in collaboration with the Islamic Research Institute, Government of Pakistan, Higher Education Commission, and also International Islamic University. And we are at this moment present at the campus of International Islamic University. We have a lovely live audience as well. Within no time, they will prove their presence in this hall as well. In order to talk about PAIGHAM Pakistan, what exactly does it take to fight terrorism? What does it take to come up with a narrative against extremism and terrorism? We have a very distinguished panel. Let me introduce the panel at this moment in order of their presence. Professor Dr. Masoom Yasin Zai Saab, who is a rector of International Islamic University. Next to him is Chaudhry Muhammad Ashraf Saab, who is an MNA of Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz. Next to him is Ahmad Bilal Sufi Saab, a senior advocate and also a former federal minister. Next to him is Professor Dr. Muhammad Zaul Haq, who is the Director General of IRI, the institute I introduced at the start, and he is also Director of PAIGHAM Pakistan Center. Thank you very much, sirs, for your participation in the program. Thank you very much also, audience. I will ask you all to clap for yourself and for the guest here. See, this is how you actually ask them to prove that they are here. But let me start with the guest I have on the stage right now. Let me ask all the guests to first give their initial observations regarding efficacy of PAIGHAM Pakistan, and then we can talk about various aspects of it. What exactly does it stand for? Dr. Masoom Yasin Zai Saab, first you have to say your piece, sir.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. As you just said, today we are happy, very happy that International Islamic University, the initiative that this university took in giving this unanimous fatwa and PAIGHAM Pakistan to the nation and to the international community. Today we have completed the first year of that PAIGHAM Pakistan, and today we are here to deliberate on it. And this is a very good sign that in dynamic societies, the people from all walks of life, be the religious leaders, be the academicians, be the students, be the people from the other walks of life, they unite together and they then find the solutions to the challenges that they face. This unanimous declaration, I would say, or this unanimous fatwa, which was given by the religious leaders from all school of thoughts. This is such a document, that's unanimously agreed document between them, that it has become the real narrative of the whole nation now. And this is going to lay the foundation of a more tolerant society here in Pakistan. And also, this narrative is for the international community also, that look, this is the narrative of the people of Pakistan. This is the narrative of the government of Pakistan. This is how we think. This is what are our views about the issues related to extremism.
Thank you very much, Dr. Saab, for your take. Let me now bring in Chaudhry Mohammad Ashraf Saab. Sir, how important do you think this document is? And why do you think it took us so much time to come up with one?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very much happy to participate before this organization, and PAIGHAM Pakistan is one of the efforts to establish Islamic system in Pakistan, for which we sacrifice, after sacrificing our bloods, our relations, our properties, and we achieve Pakistan. The purpose of Pakistan was La ilaha illallah. A Islamic state shall come into existence. In that state, there would be social justice, economic justice, and justice between man and man, justice between state and person, justice between state and state shall be established. And this assurance has been given in our constitution known as Islamic Republic of Pakistan. And that guarantee has been given. Fundamental rights, respect for individual, and dignity of man, protection of life and property are the basic guarantees of our constitution known as Islamic Republic of Pakistan. So I don't want to take more time, but only I will submit one example. In the Second World War, that Mr. Churchill was defeated candidate. Chamberlain was elected Prime Minister, but unfortunately he could not satisfy people of UK and European society in the affairs of that war. The people demand that we want Mr. Churchill because he is a man of career and a man who can control the affairs of war. As First World War and in Second World War, he is the only person. Then in obeyance of the crisis and voice of people, Mr. Chamberlain resigned and Churchill was elected as Prime Minister, and his first speech was that I can't give my peoples anything except blood, because there was bloodshedding in every street of UK. And I can give the peoples of UK tears and blood. But I assure the nation that as judicial system is running very successfully in maintenance of justice between the different groups of society and person and states to state. So due to that prevailing of principle of justice in my society, I can assure the nation that victory is ours. And with the grace of God, on that faith and discipline in the nation, they achieved the victory. So we can achieve victory if in Pakistan we establish maintenance and protection of justice and justice alone. This is my humble submission.
Thank you very much, Dr. Chaudhry Saab. Thank you very much for your statement. the message of Islam, the message of moderation can help build a better society. Let me now go to Amar Bilal Sufi Sahab. Sir, you not only you are a lawyer, you actually function at an international level, and you have seen it all. Kindly tell us how important is PAIGHAM-e-Pakistan, and how do you think we can legally operationalize it, sir?
I think PAIGHAM-e-Pakistan is one of the most important legal documents after the Constitution of Pakistan. And I say so very seriously because for the last 10, 15 years, when the state was into a conflict environment, non-state actors were trying to assert unlawful control over the territories of Pakistan. They were trying to twist the message of Islam and misuse it to incite people against the state and also induce people to withdraw their loyalty in terms of Article 5 of the Constitution of Pakistan, and also raise military organizations equipped to attack the state. And the narrative that they were using was an oversimplified view that was linked with oversimplified jurisprudence of Islam. So what PAIGHAM-e-Pakistan does is to clear that dust, is to clear that fog of confusion, and the Muslims living in Pakistan are now well guided with clarity, with crisp language, that once they are in the state, their allegiance is to the state in terms of the Article 5 of the Constitution.
Right.
Islam supports that. The jurisprudence of Islam actually says you need to stand with the state, with the institutions of the state, with the constitution of the state, and also be part of international world order. And do not deviate away from international law framework, which is an obligation on the state, which in turn is an obligation on an individual. So PAIGHAM-e-Pakistan is one of the finest jurisprudential exercises undertaken in the state, in any Muslim state for that matter.
Right.
And its significance is very important. It needs to be presented. It needs to be made part of domestic curriculum. It needs to be presented to United Nations Security Council because it also acts as a compliance measure for a lot of UN resolutions.
Right.
And it also needs to be translated into not only international other languages so that the Muslims in other countries begin to associate with it, but also in regional languages of Pakistan so that Pakistanis living in various areas are also identifying it.
Right.
I maintain I am a great supporter and I have a deep appreciation for everyone who has been associated with it, scholars, people who have organizers, the president of the university, this institution. I think it is one of the groundbreaking work that has come out in Pakistan's recent history.
Right, sir. Thank you very much for that opening remark. Now let me go to Professor Dr. Muhammad Ziaul Haq, who is the Director General of Islamic Research Institute and who is also Director of PAIGHAM-e-Pakistan Center. Dr. Saab, tell us, how did this document actually come into being? What was the process of evolution? Who started it and what exactly happened?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. PAIGHAM-e-Pakistan is a national narrative counter to violent extremism, and it is also a way forward for the reconstruction of Pakistani society that was dream of Allama Iqbal. And for that purpose, Qaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah, he established Islamic Republic of Pakistan. The Chancellor of our university and President of Pakistan, he directed to the Rector of our university and President of our university to contribute in the articulation of national narrative. The President of Pakistan was of the view that this university is an international university and the role of this university is different from other universities. And this is an institution that is agreed upon among all the segments of the society, and this institute can unite the ulama. So on the directives of the President of Pakistan, and under the guidance of the rector of the university and president of the university, Islamic Research Institute, which was established for the reconstruction of Pakistani society, took this initiative. At initial stage in May 2017, we organized a seminar, and in that seminar we invited presidents and general secretaries of all wafaqs of the religious madaras, and we also invited some of the leading academicians. Right. And in a seminar that was chaired by President of Pakistan then, the first draft of PAIGHAM-e-Pakistan was declared. In that draft, there were two components. One was unanimous fatwa and other was unanimous declaration. Fatwa was narrated by Mufti Muhammad Rafi Usmani Sahab, and the agreed upon declaration was presented by Professor Dr. Masoom Yasin Zai, Rector, International Islamic University, Islamabad, in presence of the President of Pakistan. And President of Pakistan said that this is the most important task that we needed to do. He welcomed that initiative and he congratulated the university. And it was decided there that this initiative will be announced and more opinions will be taken from the people. Then on the directives of the rector and the president of the university, we hold countrywide consultative meetings, conferences, seminars, and we also sought suggestions from the religious wafaqs, from the universities, and for the purpose of consultation on PAIGHAM-e-Pakistan, we hold National Vice Chancellor Conference, we hold Conference of the Female Religious Leaders, we hold another conference about of the religious, non-Muslim religious leaders. And in this way, a long process of improvement and refinement of the PAIGHAM-e-Pakistan document was taken. And finally, after the incorporation of all these suggestions, the final draft of the PAIGHAM-e-Pakistan was presented by the Rector, International Islamic University, to the President of Pakistan for approval. President of Pakistan, he approved this document in November 2017, and then on 16 January 2018, in Awan-e-Sadr, in presence of 1800 ulama, ministers, members of the parliament, and ambassadors, President of Pakistan, he launched PAIGHAM-e-Pakistan as a national narrative, as a national voice to counter the violent extremism. Until now, when it was launched, at that time, it was signed by 1800 ulama and different religious leaders. Up to now, PAIGHAM-e-Pakistan has been signed by 7,000 religious leaders, and it is also signed by Imam-e-Kaaba, Grand Mufti of Misr, Grand Mufti of Kazakhstan, Grand Mufti of Thailand, Grand Mufti of Russia, Sheikhul Islam of Turkey, and Grand Mufti of Croatia. So this is not only Pakistani, but international document.
So this is the evolution so far. Do tell us how much time did it take?
It took 6 months to finalize this document.
And right from the start?
Right from the start.
Right. So in 17 years, why do you think this didn't happen earlier?
I think there were early efforts too, but these efforts were not coordinated efforts. And when the university focused on it, and the unique position of International Islamic University and the Faisal Mosque.
When the government of Pakistan brought it to the relevant quarters, then it actually took place.
It came
You are the relevant quarters, sir,
yes,
right?
yes.
Okay, Dr. Yasin Zai, I have to come back to you, and the question is about integration of PAIGHAM-e-Pakistan into the syllabus of Pakistan, the curricula of Pakistan. Do you think it can be integrated, sir?
I think before coming to this question, I must say that to respond to your question that why this thing was not done in 70 years. This is a very recent phenomena, unfortunately, in this country, that our universities have now realized that they have to respond to the national issues. Pakistan, there is no doubt about it, Pakistan had these issues of extremism over there. So this university realized that we are an international university. The second most important aspect that we have observed in this country is that all schools of thought, religious leaders of all school of thought, they come to this common platform of International Islamic University. International Islamic University enjoys the trust of all them, and not only them, but the non-Muslims in this country. They also come to this forum, and they raise their voice from here, which is heard on this forum. Coming to the second one, yes, we are now PAIGHAM Pakistan is there. It is there in the main circles, but to take it down, deep down into the society, to every person in the society, we need to inculcate this into the mind of every student coming to the schools and colleges and universities of this country. So we need to make it part of the curriculum of this university. I have raised it before the National Curriculum Council also, that this is a document, this is something which we should take it to every student and every teacher of this country. Right. This has to be done. We are now we have gone to the province of Sindh, we have gone to the province of KPK, we have gone to Balochistan, we will soon be going to the Governor House, Punjab.
And what is the reaction, sir? What is the response?
It is accepted, not only, I would say that heartily, but also they have extended a lot of support to it. And everywhere, wherever we have gone, the society has accepted this, that yes, this was the need of the country, this voice of the nation, this should be there, not only in this country, but internationally also.
You have been in academia for quite some time. How much time do you think it will take to become part of the national curriculum, sir?
You know, these days, National Curriculum Council and the unified certification and unified curriculum framework, this is these days a very hot topic. That day I had the discussion with the minister in which I talked about this PAIGHAM Pakistan, and I said that this should be part of the curriculum also over there. So curriculum is as good as it is taught over there. So we have to reach to the institutions and aware the teachers and the students. Then it becomes very easy to make it part of the,
that is true, sir, but Islamiyat that is taught in the schools, I see this document could easily fit into its context, and it could actually educate people. Let me go back to Chaudhry Mohammad Ashraf Saab. Sir, what exactly do you think is the role of politicians, political leaders of the country in combating extremism? And do you think there is a way to actually take this message? It is one thing if it is taught at the schools, at the universities. The second thing, if it comes from the podium of a politician, when they are actually inspiring people.
I submit already, and now again I congratulate the authors of this PAIGHAM Pakistan, because this is desire of every organ of the state and everybody, all political members of all political parties are wishing for that purpose, and the struggle in a political party is to serve the people of Pakistan. And the great service which has been rendered and done to prepare a document of PAIGHAM Pakistan, which appeals to the mind of every sector of the society. And entire nation is united on this issue. एक है मुस्लिम हरम की पासबानी के लिए, नील के साहिल से लेकर ताबा खाके काश्मीर. Let we remain one and more strong, more political. The purpose of politician is to unite the people.
When I talk to ulama, I see what they had to do and they have done it. It is in our hands. But I haven't seen a political leader talking about this, brandishing it, or actually communicating the message to the masses. Because I think all the ulama are agreeing on something very important. Suicide bombing should not be part of the country. Other such excesses should not be tolerated. And yet politicians seldom talk about these matters. So shouldn't they be actually taking the book, conveying it to the people? They can be your fourth multiplier.
I can assure Your Honor that we and my friends and all other political parties and leaders and members of the parties shall try to achieve this.
Right.
And eventually we will achieve our purpose.
Right. Amar Bilal Sufi Saab, I've seen your understanding of the document. I've seen the need and the response that was collective. Now, other countries are also facing the similar kind of problems. Is it possible that now it is called PAIGHAM-e-Pakistan and this is PAIGHAM-e-Pakistan 1.0? Can we talk about a PAIGHAM-e-Pakistan or some counter-narrative 2.0 that can be operationalized in other countries and we can actually establish an authority that actually issues such joint declarations and fatwa that help other countries too?
There is a need for this, although we have an OIC forum, but that hasn't been as functional as it could be. Firstly, as step one, PAIGHAM-e-Pakistan should be adopted jointly in an OIC interministerial conference as a document which is useful to the entire Muslim world, because it addresses not only issues of Pakistan, but these issues are common to various Muslim countries, non-state actors, Al-Qaeda, proscribed organizations, other entities, Daesh, etc. They are active in various Muslim countries. So it's a common challenge. And if you read the text of PAIGHAM-e-Pakistan, the declaration and the fatwa, it responds to these challenges which are transnational in nature, which are not Pakistan specific, but all nations are associated with that. The other option would be to consider converting it into a multilateral convention in which the Muslim countries could initially sign it off, where they reiterate.
At the UN level or elsewhere?
It could be conference of state parties can be convened voluntarily.
Right.
5, 10, 15, 20 Muslim countries can come together,
Right.
convert this document into a multilateral treaty instrument in which they identify adherence to the UN Charter and also adherence to the respective constitutions, and to actively, collectively move against any non-state actor who has transnational agenda to disrupt international peace and security. So the PAIGHAM-e-Pakistan's level can be raised to a multilateral treaty framework, and I'm sure it will be very well
The level
received.
of awareness elsewhere can also be raised along with it.
Simultaneously, this will also come along. Other religions will also join in, because we are talking of creating greater peace and harmony, coexistence. That's what fatwa is talking about, because that was part of the sunnah of the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, that if there are minorities, non-Muslims, we will enter into agreements with them. We will enter into treaties with them.
It mentions Misak-e-Madina also.
Exactly.
And
So-
that point is quite relevant here.
Yes, so in that sense, I think converting it and taking it to another level of transnational level could be of great service to international community and particularly to the Muslim world, where it can also induce Muslims all over the world to focus on research, exploration, development in this worldly affairs, because that is what they are supposed to focus on, as opposed to taking up arms in an irresponsible fashion.
Right. Again, Dr. Zia, coming back to you, sir. Since we are talking about taking it international and using it elsewhere as well, it seems to me, while reading it, that Pakistani society is hardwired into it. It is basically about Pakistani society. We are talking about Pakistani constitution. It starts with that. And there are repeated references to Pakistani society. Is there possibility to take the values that you have generated and create another document that can be used elsewhere, sir?
There are not only possibilities, but there are also efforts going on for articulation of such type of international document of Muslims. And our president and our university and rector of the university, we had recently meeting with Imam-e-Kaaba and pro-chancellor of the university. And we are also talking about such type of declaration named as Misak-e-Makkah, to be adopted at a global level, particularly by the Muslim countries. And there are other dimensions of PAIGHAM-e-Pakistan internationally. Yani, President of Indonesia, he hold a conference on the initiative of PAIGHAM-e-Pakistan, in which the scholars of Pakistan, scholars of Afghanistan, and scholars of Indonesia, they adopted declaration for peaceful Afghanistan. And in that declaration, the first article of the declaration was that we support the PAIGHAM-e-Pakistan initiative that has been taken by Islamic Republic of Pakistan. And there are also desired from some of the non-Muslim communities that we need to have such type of declaration for interfaith harmony in our country, and particularly for the role of Muslims in the development of non-Muslim communities. So already PAIGHAM-e-Pakistan is moving on international agenda, and more efforts, articulated efforts can done. PAIGHAM-e-Pakistan can really contribute. What is Islam? What is the response of Pakistan towards Islam? It is what is presently considered that this is what Pakistan is doing. Before Pakistan, PAIGHAM-e-Pakistan, there were many international narratives, but these narratives were either prepared by the West or these narratives were from the extremists themselves. PAIGHAM-e-Pakistan is the first international document initiated by Islamic Republic of Pakistan, based on the Constitution of Pakistan, based on the Quran and Sunnah, and we can say
and
that
consensus also.
Yeah, it is consensus-based document, and we can say that at present, PAIGHAM-e-Pakistan is the first baseline Islamic document to way forward for peaceful coexistence in the Muslim society such as Pakistan.
Right. Since it is a narrative, the next question is also to you, and it is initiative of IRI. Is there possibility, considering intellectual property rights and all, that it is IRI that actually takes this initiative elsewhere as well?
Yes, we are already taking it. The first phase of PAIGHAM-e-Pakistan was its articulation. Now in the second phase of PAIGHAM-e-Pakistan, yani contributing the reconstruction of Pakistani society, we are working with almost all state universities, some of important private universities, Higher Education Commission, and religious wafaq of Madaris. So it is not only the contribution of Islamic Research Institute, International Islamic University. International Islamic University presently is serving as a coordinator and facilitator, but this initiative has been changed into a movement, and this movement is everywhere in Pakistan. In every university, in every college, every school, every madrasa, we are trying to reach.
And internationally, can you take the lead of the effort?
Yes, PAIGHAM-e-Pakistan Center is working about these efforts. Recently, we had a meeting about it, and with the Foreign Office, we are moving towards taking it to the international domain.
Right. Dr. Yassin Zai, the question is about another very important aspect, and that is the West keeps on talking, or there are certain people who keep on talking about a clash of civilizations. Do you think that reading this document actually raised my awareness that Islam doesn't essentially have to fight with everybody, and there's hardly any threat to anybody from Islam as long as we live in a harmonious world? Is there a possibility of actually adopting this message to undermine such divisive ideologies or philosophies all over the world?
Before coming to your question, I would add only one sentence. When we went to Indonesia, His Excellency, the President of Indonesia, Joko Widodo, while shaking hand with me, asked me, how can you help us in establishing an international Islamic university here in Indonesia? Right. Because the great job that you have done for your country, we want the same to be copied here in Indonesia. So these are the efforts which are being recognized internationally. One thing, to your question, I would like to, there are 22 points of this PAIGHAM-e-Pakistan. Right. I would read for you point number 19. This relates to the question that you have raised. This is what Pakistan, the Pakistani people, this PAIGHAM-e-Pakistan thinks about the non-Muslims living here and elsewhere in the entire world. Non-Muslims living in Pakistan enjoy all such civil and legal rights for the protection of their life, property, and dignity that their fellow Muslim avail within the bounds of law and constitution. Furthermore, non-Muslim citizens of Pakistan have full right to worship in their places of worship and during the occasion of their religious celebrations as per the teachings of their religions. Now, Islam has nothing to do with terrorism. Islam has nothing to do with extremism. Islam is a religion of love. This is the message which should go to every citizens of every country globally. This is the message of Pakistan. This is the message of Islam. This is the narrative of the people of Pakistan. We love all of them. We want to work with them collectively, globally. We want to work, and Pakistan has this narrative to tell them. Pakistan has got this message for all of them.
Right, and this actually deserves an applause. So, Chaudhry Sahab, again coming back to you, sir, I still have to actually understand how much debate there was in the parliament regarding PAIGHAM-e-Pakistan. How did political parties actually respond to it? Because in Pakistan, we have lost more than 80,000 people to terrorism. It happened only in past 70 years. And many of them were political leaders, including your political party. So what exactly is the response of political parties? And if it is sluggish, why exactly so?
This document was not introduced in National Assembly or Provincial Assembly.
It wasn't.
Uh,
And who is going to
Paighaam-e-Pakistan.
introduce that, sir?
PAIGHAM-e-Pakistan, it's a very good effort. Or I pray always that this must be maintained in all institutions of Pakistan. Or you will see that this time, so far today, it has not been introduced in any parliament,
And
provincial
sir-
parliaments, provincial assemblies,
And
as
who's
well
going
as
to do that,
in
sir?
national assemblies.
So, and who's
In
going
the
to do that?
yesterday, National Assembly united on one principle that the Sania Sahiwal is a human being problem, not a political.
Okay.
Without having political relations, differences, we are unite on one point that it is a human problem and humanity of Pakistan must be protected. On that issue, the debate was successful and the body of a Department of Police,
Right.
they tried their level best to forget this. They were dahshatgards and this and that. Nobody accepted these proposals and suggestions.
No,
And
I get that.
everybody,
Sir,
and
Chaudhry
everybody
Sahab, you have
stood
to
up.
understand,
Everybody stood up, all political parties.
No, I understand
on
that,
this.
but we are sort of veering
Yes,
away
I'm-
from the
I'm-
topic that we are discussing.
I'm submitting.
My humble question is, who is going to introduce this document in the parliament, sir?
I'm just,
Yes, sir,
I'm
please,
just
sir.
submitting that this document, so far as has not been introduced on the platform of parliament.
Chaudhry Sahab is very right. This document is now being taken by the chairman of the Islamic Ideology of Pakistan, Islami Nazriyati Council, and they are trying to make a legislation and take that legislation to the legislative body. And inshallah, it will soon be there in the assembly for them to deliberate on it and then accept it or give it to the nation as a legislation.
Right, sir. But it might be now with the Islamic Ideology
Yes.
Council, but Chaudhry Sahab, my humble submission was that your party was ruling the country for 5 years. It is primarily at the time when your party was ruling the country that this document came out. And it was primarily your party's responsibility to bring it to the parliament.
Of course. Nobody can deny this document.
Right.
And nobody will differ.
Okay.
Rather, in international levels, it must be introduced because I remember Bertrand Russell's essay on the subject. He stated in his essay that I wish for harmonious cooperation for the purpose of protection of respect for individual and search for religious which supports this proposal. I always wish for religious of human kindness. But so far as nobody has explained to me where is that concept. It is unfortunately
Right.
we could not explain in European countries, and we being Muslim, we are faithful to respect for individual and human kindness. This
Absolutely,
is
sir.
part of our religious, and our religious, which is, of course, is a religious of human kindness.
Absolutely.
my humble submission,
Let me.
and let us
I'm
try
told
to
that
introduce.
we have to take a quick break. But before that, I have to go back to Amar Bilal Sufi Sahab. Sir, since you were talking about PAIGHAM-e-Pakistan as the most important document after Constitution of Pakistan, and there is a legislative business involved. The question was that there seems to be a disconnect between in the society on the levels of lawmaking. On one side, it is the parliament's job to do it. And then we are talking about fatwa, where there has to be, consensus on edict between the religious scholars. How does it actually automatically go from one level to the parliament and then into law?
Well, frankly, I think that's a choice, whether you need to make it a legislation or not, because the way it stands, it's pretty solid standing. Why? It's been authenticated by the President of Pakistan. So it is kind of an executive order by the President. It is a hybrid model. It's a work of jurisprudence and at the same time, an executive act of the President of Pakistan. So it's a state-specific document.
Right.
It need not be converted into legislation, but it can be presented to legislators for their support and discussion.
Yeah.
And they can be mindful of what it talks about while they are making general legislation relating to any other aspects of life in the country, including the provincial government. So personally speaking, I would prefer that it is used as an executive instructions by the President of Pakistan, Executive Act, and a jurisprudential work of ulama.
But it has to be connected with syllabus, curriculum.
That's what I'm saying.
And there has to be some debate in the parliament also, right?
Debate, which means which looks into it, so it can be presented as an agenda of the parliament,
Right.
and where it can be debated and given more specific recommendations can come out of that.
The humble submission and the concern is that in Pakistan things start lagging, and that has been happening in 17 years, as has
Correct.
been proven by Dr. Zia. So somebody has to bring it to the parliament as well. Otherwise, maybe we won't have the kind of debate and ownership that is needed from the political leaders as well. But sir, more of that later in the program. I'm told that we have to take a break. When we come back, we are going to resume the discussion right from here, and we are going to take questions from the audience as well. Take a break.